Have you ever felt judged? Not by strangers, but by someone you expected would understand you the most. That moment when you are already panicking, overwhelmed, and instead of comfort, you received a verdict, a decision, without even knowing the full story. Today's episode is about judgment, and trust me, this episode didn't come from planning. It came from pain. Hello and namaste. Welcome back to Sara Khushi Ko Yatra, the journey to complete happiness. I'm your friend Sabbu, and I'm so grateful that you are here today. In this episode, we are going to talk about judgment in a deeper way. I've always wanted to write about judgment, always. But for some reason, I never had the courage. किनभने मलाई सधैँ लाग्थ्यो म आफै कति धेरै कुरामा जज गर्छु अरूलाई, आफैलाई नै पनि जज गरेर हुन्छु, कसरी लेख्ने होला जजमेन्टको बारेमा. I felt like a hypocrite. But recently something happened, and that pain led me to write about judgment. So, if you have ever judged someone or felt judged by others, this episode is not here to shame you. It is here to help you understand yourself much better way. Today, we'll talk about what judgment is and where it comes from, why our brain creates it, and what psychological factors contribute to it. We will also talk about how we can slowly move from judgment to wisdom. Everything I share today is not just an opinion. It is supported by psychology, neuroscience, and human behavior research. So आउनुस् सुरु गरौँ हाम्रो सारा खुशीको यात्रा. In the silence of the soul, a whisper takes flight. A journey begins from shadow to light. Hello and namaste. Welcome to Sara Khushi Ko Yatra, the journey to complete happiness. And I'm your friend Sabbu. Let's start by understanding judgment. What is judgment? Judgment is the act of making a decision or conclusion about someone or something, often without a complete information. Judgment is a very big word. For example, court judgment, good judgment, make a judgment. So judgment itself is not that bad. The problem starts when we decide too quickly and stop being curious. So, where judgment really comes from? Normally, there are 4 contributing factors. They are ancient brain, conditioning and upbringing, fear and insecurity, and our ego. Let me explain it further, Haita. Number 1, we have ancient animal brain, which is also known as the survival brain. I have talked about our instinctive animal brain in my last episode about trauma as well. Inside every human being, there is a part of the brain that works like an animal's brain, and its only job is to keep you alive. From an evolutionary perspective, judgment kept humans alive. At ancient time, humans had to decide very quickly. जंगलमा बसिरहेको हुन्छ, caveमा, everything is very dangerous. So, if they will see something or someone, then they had to act quickly. Like, is this person safe? Is this situation dangerous? Should I fight, run away, or trust? And these quick judgments kept them alive. Our modern brain still uses these same ancient systems, even though most threats today are more emotional and not physical. The moment it feels danger, this part of our brains jumps in and takes control, and that's how we judge. Number 2, conditioning and upbringing. Judgment is learned. We are not born judging, we learn it. We absorb it from our family beliefs and family communications, our culture, religion, education, social expectations, childhood experiences, and many more. Many of our judgments are inherited, not chosen. हामीले हेरेको, देखेको, भोगेको, सुनेको भरमा जज गर्न सिक्छौँ. Another contributing factor for judgment is fear and insecurity. Judgment often comes from fear. We judge when we are scared of being wrong, when we are afraid of being rejected, and we judge when we feel insecure or think we are not good enough. And do you know what? We also fear when we don't understand what others is saying. And when we don't understand someone, our mind tries to protect us. So it fills that gap with assumptions. And those assumptions quickly turn into judgment. Judgment is not about others. Most of the time, it is about our own fear and insecurity. And number 4, our ego. Judgment also comes from the ego. Egoलाई नेपालीमा अहंकार भनिन्छ. Ego is the part of us that wants to feel right, important and in control. अहंकार भनेको एकदम मनै छ यो मनै ठुलो भन्ने चाहिँ भित्री भावना हो. Our ego always wants to feel better than others. That's why when we judge others, our ego stops us from looking at ourselves. It becomes a way to avoid our own feelings. And judgment creates a separation, like me versus them, right versus wrong, superior versus inferior. And this separation gives us the illusion of control and certainty. It made us feel superior, like whatever I said is true and I'm right. But deep down we know, if we go deep, it can hurt us and point our own pain and suffering. So when we judge, we temporarily escape our own vulnerability. Psychologist Brené Brown also explains that judging others is often a way to protect ourselves from shame. So judgment normally comes from these 4 things: ancient animal brain, our conditioning and upbringing, our own fear and insecurity, and our ego. But do you know why we judge others more than ourselves? Because judging others feels safer than self-reflection. Self-reflection requires emotional maturity, humility, courage. But judgment, it requires none of that. Understanding takes effort. Judgment is instant. Understanding asks us to pause, listen, stay open. But judgment allows us to conclude, close, and move on. And the mind always chooses what is easier. हामी धेरै जसो आँखाले देखेको कुराको बेसिसमा फैसला गर्छौं. हामी त न्यायाधीश जस्तै हुन्छौं. जस्तै फलानो त काम नै गर्दैन, कस्तो अल्छी. ल हेर्नुस्, यहाँ डिसिजन भइसक्यो अल्छी भनेर. बट उसले किन काम गर्दैन कसैलाई थाहा छ त? हामी क्वेशन नै सोध्दैनौं. यत्तिकै हचुवा भरमा चाहिँ जज गर्छौं. उसको मेन्टल हेल्थ इश्यूज छ कि, अथवा उसको फ्यामिली रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी छ कि, अथवा धनी नै छ कि, पैसाले टन्नै पुग्छ कि, or maybe they are working but हामीले चाहिँ नदेखेको हो कि, or maybe they are trying hard to get a job or starting their own business. There are so many possibilities. But we choose conclusion over curiosity. Recently, I found myself in a situation as well where I was already anxious and overwhelmed. I shared something vulnerable, hoping for understanding. But instead, I received judgment before the full story was even heard. राम्रोसँग पुरा कुरा नै नसुनिकन डाइरेक्ट तिम्रो नै गल्ती त हो नि भनेर चाहिँ भन्यो. I was stunned. I was trying to explain what exactly happened, but she didn't listen. Or let's say she judged and started to say things, assuming everything without even listening. Then I hung up the call. And then my mind started racing. Like, how can she say this to me? I've never said that when she had a hard time. I've always tried to listen and tried to understand her. She knows how I panic and blah blah blah. Instead of comfort, I felt judged from her, from people, from life. I was sad. I was very sad. I was overwhelmed, exhausted, and I cried. So that one sentence from that person pushed me to survival state. I sensed danger, and it pushed me to fight, flight, and freeze mode. I was at fight mode first because I was angry and trying to defend myself by explaining. But when I felt judged, I went to flight mode. I ran away. I hung up the call and avoided talking. I wanted to escape that situation. Then suddenly, it brought back my other traumas and past experiences where I felt hurt, and without even knowing, I went to freeze mode. Those past memories brought the same pain and same suffering. Trauma भनेको चाहिँ कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दा त्यो कुराहरू त मलाई पहिला भएको थियो नि त, धेरै वर्ष अगाडि भएको थियो. अहिले त फिजिकल्ली म त्यहाँ छैन. I'm here. But when I'm in that situation where I'm already panicking, त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ कसैकोबाट जजमेन्ट फिल भयो भने चाहिँ it will brought back all the memories. अनि त्यो पीडा चाहिँ एक्ज्याक्टली 100% त्यही नै हुन्छ जुन मलाई त्यो टाइममा भएको थियो. Though I'm not physically there, but the pain will still be the same. It hurt so much that I felt helpless and alone. I started crying. I was in freeze mode. I shut down myself. I surrendered myself to that pain because I thought that pain will never go away. I was numb and silent. अहिले त्यो कुरा सम्झिँदा I still feel bad for myself, but that moment reminded me of something very important. Judgment hurts the most when it replaces listening. जब हामी सुन्दैनौं नि, that's when it gets worst. It made me realize how deeply judgment affects our emotional safety. And then something clicked. I thought I will write about how I felt today as a journaling. My therapist have told me to write a journal when things feels heavy, as putting your feelings in words can help you heal. So I thought of trying that. And I also thought maybe this is the right time to write about judgment. Maybe universe wanted me to learn this lesson in a hard way. So I started writing about judgment, and now it has turned it into one of my episodes for my podcast. Every time I write my episodes, I heal myself. And it also made me reflect, how many times do we unknowingly do this to others? म आफै पनि जजमेन्टबाट बस्न सक्दिनँ. जानी नजानी गरि नै रहेको हुन्छौँ. एकचोटि राम्रोसँग सोच्नुस् त, दिनमा कतिचोटि चाहिँ हामी यस्तो जजमेन्ट गर्छौँ? My God, we can talk whole day and night about others. अरूलाई जज गर्न त धेरै सजिलो छ. But when judgment turns towards us, we feel unseen, unheard, invalidated. आफूलाई नराम्रो लाग्छ भने अरूलाई पनि त त्यस्तै लाग्न सक्छ भनेर चाहिँ हामी सोच्दैनौँ. Judgment doesn't just label people, it creates a long distance. And do you know what happens when we are judged? Judgment doesn't just hurt emotionally, it affects our whole nervous system. According to trauma physician Gabor Mate, judgment increases emotional stress and reduces feelings of safety, especially in people with anxiety or trauma history. And this is why judgment doesn't just hurt feelings, it affects the whole body. We shut down, we withdraw, we protect ourselves. You can't see them with your naked eyes, but changes happens internally and it happens very fast. Now let's talk about judgment versus wisdom. We all judge. I know यसमा झुट बोल्ने कुरै छैन. We all do. Sometimes without meaning to, and sometimes without even noticing. We judge people by how they look, how they talk, how they live their lives. And often, this judgment comes quickly before we understand the full story. So wisdom, on the other hand, is slow and gentle. Wisdom pauses before reacting. It tries to understand before blaming someone, whereas judgment separates us and wisdom connects us. Judgment says, I know exactly who you are, but wisdom says, I'm willing to understand. Tell me more. Wisdom does not mean ignoring wrong behavior. It means responding with clarity and not anger. So now you must be thinking, how do we move from judgment to wisdom? So today I'm going to share my 5 simple steps that I follow, which has helped me to move from judgment to wisdom. Please try your best to practice it every single day. Number 1, pause before reacting. A pause creates a space between reaction and response. Even a short pause activates the rational brain. Even 3 seconds makes a big difference. So try it. Try to pause before answering back to people, to everyone, including your partner, parents, kids. Wise people are not those who judge less, but those who pause more. It will give you extra time to think and understand more about your own feelings and others too. Number 2, ask better questions. Or let's say replace judgment with curiosity. Ask yourself, what might this person be carrying that I cannot see? Curiosity keeps the heart open. A simple questions like, are you okay? You look bit down today. Is everything alright? Do you need help? These are very simple questions to ask to people around you, because you never know what the person is going through in their life. Everyone's life is hard, so let's try to be more kind, open, and ask better questions. Number 3, observe your triggers. If something is bothering you, it often reflects something inside you. Strong reactions and strong judgments usually come from unhealed parts within us, like past hurt, fear, insecurity, or pain we haven't worked through yet. It is not really about the other person. It is an invitation to look within ourselves. When we pause and observe our triggers, instead of reacting, we begin to understand ourselves better. And that is how healing and wisdom starts. Number 4, practice empathy without agreement. Empathy means trying to understand how someone feels or why they think the way they do. It does not mean you have to agree with them. No, it's not true. Understanding does not mean approving. You can understand someone's point of view without approving their words or actions. Understanding is all about listening with an open heart. And last, number 5, build emotional awareness. Emotional awareness means noticing your feelings instead of reacting to them. When you become more self-aware, unconscious judgment starts to lose its power. You stop judging automatically and will try to understand things more consciously. So whenever you notice yourself judging, pause and gently ask, what is this teaching me about myself? This question turns judgment into learning and criticism into growth. And that is how awareness slowly becomes wisdom. यति भन्दै गर्दा आजको लागि मेरो बिदा माग्ने बेला पनि भयो. Today, we talked about judgment, where judgment really comes from, what judgment does to our heart and body, and how we can move from judgment to wisdom. I also shared a part of my story as well, where I felt judged. So I just want to tell you that becoming wiser is a journey. And this journey is not about being perfect humans. It is about being conscious ones. This is the journey from the mind to the heart, from reaction to awareness, and from judgment to wisdom. So, if you have felt judged, I see you. I see you, okay? And you are not alone. If you are exhausted from explaining yourself to people, you don't have to. Sometimes writing, silence, and self-compassion are enough. I have been through a lot as well, so I know what it feels like to be lost, overwhelmed, and alone. And that's why I started this podcast. So, to all of you listening today, I just want to tell you that we cannot become wise overnight. And we can't stop judging completely. That's impossible. But the goal is to notice it, soften it, and grow beyond it. Every time you notice judgment and soften it, you grow. And every time you choose understanding, you heal yourself and others around you as well. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for sitting with me in this vulnerable space today. Today's episode came from pain, but also from healing. If today's episode made you pause even once, that's enough. Because every pause is a step towards wisdom. And wisdom is not about being right. It is about being aware. So thank you for being here today. You are already on the path. You are already doing much better than you think. If you like this video and resonate with my words, then please share this video with your friends and family. And please follow, subscribe, and join me again for more stories of healing, hope, and happiness. This is Sabu, sending you love, calmness, and a little spark of happiness. Thank you and namaste.